this fits is I study sort of progression 1, finger locks and finger cranks. I hate to use the word lock because it makes me like promise to you that this is going to lock someone up. It doesn't always work, but a crank is a crank. You can crank on it, and then I'm promising you a crank instead of a successful lock. The first grouping is about the fingers. The next grouping is about the wrist. The level 3 or progression 3 in the collection is about the wrist and the elbow, together. The next progression is just about the elbow, and that is the subject matter of today. The next progression involves cranks that involve the elbow and the shoulder, and then the next progression is just the shoulder. The next progression level is the shoulder and the neck, and then the next progression is just the neck. And then we take a look at the legs. But today's subject matter is going to be hyperextending the elbow. Well, as it is, you can twist the elbow and hurt it this way and hurt it that way, but it bends in. Now, sometimes, some people you can hyperbend it in its appropriate, the most popular action for it, and it may hurt or it may not hurt, but sometimes you can hyperbend a joint in its best direction and can still hurt, but it's not a very successful move for everyone. But this is the hyperextension this way, and this is what we were going to get into. An important point to remember when you're doing these cranks is that you're essentially ambushing the joint, because the human body has a natural protection to itself. If it starts to feel a hyperextension, the isometric muscle power locks a protective bend in there, therefore making all other grappling very, very difficult in real life. And sometimes your training partners will do this, and then other times they'll just let you do anything, and you'll never experience the real problems. In police work, they taught us a great deal of movement, and then when you fight a person in the street, you realize just how hard it is to get an armbar on someone because they bend their arm. So either you are so strong that you overcome the body's natural protection, or you ambush the joint so fast that it doesn't have a chance to do it. Ambush has killed the greatest armies of the world, and no matter how good you are, you can be ambushed, and if it works, you're in trouble. And so in the beginning of this presentation, I have a series of, you might say, Wing Chun dummy style movements to acclimate and to introduce the fundamental movements, And the first one we will show and work on is going to be the over-the-shoulder armbar. Now, this method of training, it's a little bit of Chinese. It's sort of like a Wing Chun dummy. I learned it from Wally J, Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu, and Remy Presa's style training in Modern Ernest. And this is our partner, is just a movable Wing Chun dummy for you to understand basics and experiment with. And so if I'm standing here, I reach across as though I'm getting a handshake to the moving Wing Chun dummy partner, And then I learn to position the arm. I help it, I step, and I get into the over-the-shoulder armbar position. And as we discussed many, many times, I don't just like to stand like this. Perhaps it's a slip-off, it's easy. I like to get a bit of the letter V and capture it real good. And as we talk about later, I also have learned through time that if you put a bit of an Indian rub in here, it's always upset my mind to directions of escape. And usually the other guy winces. So if it's possible to get, we say, twist this way, in America, the Indian rub, And it just for a second, and you break the arm, and you'll do what we do later. But so he's standing here. Now I reach across. Now I'm learning the acquisition. It's a crossover grab. And it is done, outside to outside. Because if you do one of these on the inside, he will get you very easily. So you have to it's an outside move. And it is in every police academy, every military going. Shows the over-the-shoulder arm bar or arm break, certainly against weapons. But here's this deal here. I catch, I step, I get it. I sit down. I cross grab, secure the elbow, step. And this is in slow motion with my Wing Chun dummy learning the positions that I need to get to. Then I reach across, secure the elbow, step, and then I get it. Set it down, reach across, secure the elbow, and he is helping me learn the very fundamental basics that we will soon be using against a stick and a knife and a gun. Critical to that, of course, is making sure that you get as we'll discuss, getting the elbow down and the biceps up is the best position. Now here's another, we have our Wing Chun dummy guy here, and now we have an uppercut punch kind of crank. And this time as we get to do outside, inside, inside, outside. And so I grab, he's very pliable, you know, it's like one of the G.I. Joe toys, you know, with the hinges here. He's helping me very much. I grab, I pull this up, and I'd like right now to learn the best angle to get biceps up, elbow down, and then I do a powerful uppercut. These are, you know, the hyperextension is a push-pull. And so we boom, and crank down here. And we can catch this person. This would be that type of fist, or a punch perhaps. But this is pretty much an uppercut angle. I reach down, I get here. Now, I'm learning here that this is not such a good position because that is the optimum angle. So my acquisition grab needs to be a little bit more like that. This is the point in which you learn all this, or you do it slowly through time by accident. You begin to learn these little tiny features. I pull this up, I want to crank this down and uppercut right here. I set it back down. I acquire this hand with the twist that I want to get that I know will eventually lead to the maximum shot, and I uppercut and crank down simultaneously, and then he puts the hand down, I separate, I grab again, this time making sure I can get, I crank it down, and then uppercut. And that is a joint crank using you know, the uppercut. The next one we'll take a look at, we've been going straight up and down, and now in the science of the attack, let's just say a punch could be a vertical fist, a 45, a horizontal, and an uppercut. And there's a tight uppercut, and I call this an Asian uppercut, but an extended uppercut like this. And so by this very natural punching, which boxers punch some way, Chinese punch some way, but you need to cover all the bases, that is connected to where the elbow is going to be. And sometimes going up is not going to work for you. For example, a horizontal fist, which some karate systems do, and some karate systems only do this, but a horizontal fist puts the elbow to the side. So we have our next collection of elbow hyperextensions. If I grab and push this up so I can study this, this is a side attack with a pullback. The push-pull, you see. These are obviously only outside-outside. And so, boom, you hit this. Now, it might be like this because of the ever so common 45-degree punch, you know. And so then we're here, and we pull up, and we strike here. And then we put our Wing Chun dummy back, and we come back over here, and then you crank and strike here. You reach and crank and strike here. When I discuss the myth of the duel, that means that you may get into I'll just say a generic karate system with a small K that only punches like this. And then you only fight people punching like this. And then when the fight starts, somewhere a guy punches like this and half your stuff no longer works. You know, that is the myth of the duel, fighting the mirror image of yourself all the time. And life is not like that. It's a mixed weapons world and mixed systems world, and you have to, a good system has to fight against all the different possibilities scientifically. So we reach, we lift, boom, we hit from the outside, we reach, step, and lift. You learn, there's the best angle here. It's not this one, it's this way. You learn that through these exercises, boom. While we're discussing the angles of elbows, you know, this one and this one, you also have a downward elbow, which it's been my experience in police work. I've arrested over about 1,500 people, and some of those have fought me, and some of those have tried to kill me. But they show this armbar all the time, and people instinctively bend it to protect their joint, and as we say in Texas, the rodeo begins. because and you're trying to push down here, and you know we have the alternative of going to the armpit, and it's much more successful. I like to show that to police in our police judo course, and they all like it much better. And also here, if he bends his arm, you have the SV or center lock, which is right there, and they love it. They see it immediately, because this is always their problem when they're taught this at the police academy, this armbar, you know. But if you get this, you can hammer down or push down. I want to get this angle, this downward angle, and then it's a pump and an attack, and if you get it fast enough. But we're talking about injuring people here, you know. When you attack this joint, you hyperextend and hurt it, and people use it as a rake, and they pull out to either side. Things we'll be talking about later. He stands upright, I reach across, put him into position, get the elbow where I'd like to get it, and the vertical or downward strike. He stands back up, we reach across, I learn how to get the hand to create the maximum angle, you know, to strike down with your hand, with your forearm, with your elbow. The next one I'd like to show is going to develop the proper front arm bar figure 4 kind of position. That many times in a fight with a stick or a knife, you look at some of our hardest kill shot stick fights, or some of you know, the Mark Denny group Dog Brother films, which everyone has seen usually. You wonder how these madmen swinging sticks at each other often arm wrap each other. It happens a lot, and they capture the person's arm in here. And it is a good idea to have some strategies that involve things to do. That, of course, is covered in our Arm Wrap Trap DVD. But for to cover this here with our Wing Chun dummy, he's just down, relaxed. I'm going to take this, pick both hands, because now is my time to practice with this guy who's letting me do this. And I twist the arm into an elbow down, biceps up position, put it in my armpit, and close it. Then I lay this across and get the basic fundamentals of the figure 4 lock. Now, I know from experience of doing this, and you will too with much practice, is the angle of maximum pain is not straight up, but it's sort of kind of this way. Not straight up, but sort of, you just know this by rehearsal and exercise. And then you compensate the proper angle, and you learn that by doing this over and over and over again. And so I've lifted this, put this up, and I get this. And in the mechanics of the front arm bar, or you say a figure 4, is my armpit goes down, that goes down, and my forearm goes up. But that can short circuit that punch. But we don't want to stay here in a real fight. We want to throw him down. We just a great handle for a takedown. But anyway, everyone in this business needs to know the figure 4 lock, because it's kindergarten jiu-jitsu, and you at least need to explore it. In Aiki-jitsu, we would catch and then instantly try to dislocate or rip something in here. And it's hard to simulate, but that's one of the first things many of the hardcore systems would do. He puts his arm down, I get this, I'm now able to position it exactly as I would like. I sit it into my armpit, I must place a bridge over here, and then catch. My forearm is on or just above or just below his elbow. That goes down, body goes down, that goes up. You see, and then we set it back down again, and this is how we learn these fundamentals in a nice, safe, Remy Presas, Wally J, Chinese kind of environment, so that we can get this going. And another thing that's important from doing these type of drills is, I would stake my bet, a claim that most anyone in the world, with anyone in the world, about half the people know how to do it on their strong side and not on their weak side. And these drills enable you to study both left and right, and you become more ambidextrous, and it's better for you. Catch, set up. Oh, let me get that right. Now's the time to do all this and get it. Then he puts it back down. I reach, I turn to the maximum position. I secure it in here, catch, and go. Ever since I can remember, we've heard the term the whizzer. W-H-I-Z-Z-E-R. And it has meant so many big things. It's meant a full body throw. It's meant a spinning and pinching of the skin. You do a whizzer. But today it's kind of evolving into a body takedown. And my good and my trusty and stalwart friend Jim McCann showed me this on the ground, and then standing, and I'm better able to understand and amplify this particular catch, which has very, very street fight applications. Now, we've done the front arm bar, but but what if the arm wriggles sideways? You have what is now commonly referred to as the whizzer, not one of these or big throws here. And so what I'm going to do here is turn and put this arm, and he is thumb up in the back. This is how it's caught, like the palm. His palm is in my back. And I'm going to take this fist and turn it. And see, look at how I have to maintain the hyperextension on the elbow. Now, you can do this in a knee-high ground fight, you can catch people, throw them down low, throw people off of you that are on top of you. And of course, standing, you can drive him into, we'll step back, you can drive him into a wall, his head into a wall, or use your foot, slip your foot in there and use it as a downward circular takedown. So it's the whizzer. And this is kind of an important aspect, the hammer fist, which is what McCann emphasized for me, that I said, that makes it work, doesn't it? Is that, and then the natural ability, just freeze in that position. We'll turn slightly this way here. Then you will pick up the natural ability through your experience to learn the best angle that this functions at. If we were both standing up perfectly right, you start to see the different angles. And if he starts squirming, you've got to figure out the best body position. And then, of course, you stick that with a leg sweep, and you've got the classic takedown. So we pick this up, position it in the arm, turn into it, and feed that. And then just bend to get the position. Pick this up here, you put it into your armpit, turn, and this way you'll get to see the backside of that, and you learn to get the hyperextension in this position. What we've been doing is some high arm problems and middle arm problems, but what if we have a couple of low ones? And so here's our helper here. We grab the hand, position it, and slam with the arm. This is an outsider. We cross over, grab the hand, position the elbow, and we slam with the arm. We grab, position the elbow, and then remember the push-pull aspects. Think of many times it's like a pump. It's pumping this way or this way, and you want to hyperextend here. You reach across, turn, and hyperextend here. So right after, and oftentimes when I teach this, I put these two together. We have the arm, ram, and crank back, but you also have the body. These are outside principles again. I'm outside the arm, and you have a crank back, and you can bump the body for movement, manipulation. These are Wing Chun dummy. I reach across, I step around here, and I position the arm where I want it, and then I strike with the body. I reach around, position the arm where I want it, and use the body. So many times in my class, in your classes, you could double up. You have arm, body, and condense the last two. Reach around right here, arm and body. This is actually a Filipino drill that involves, remember we're working now with the arm just a little bit lower, and this is an outside the arm, inside the arm, inside the arm, outside the arm deal. Now your friend by this time in the workout, he's very relaxed, and this is where you can hurt him by accident, so be careful. Because he'll hyperextend his arm. I have an arm injury here that's torn irreparably, from a training accident that I should have been smarter about. But anyway, so be careful of the hyperextension. So here we have, I grab my friend as though it's in a handshake, my training partner, and then I cup this hand, and I want to catch behind the elbow, pump and pull. And so in the Filipino style drill, they just sort of real casually do this, Then they put it back down, I grab, and I pump and pull. Grab here, pump and pull, grab here, pump and pull. And it's just a drill outside, inside, inside, outside that makes a student acclimated to the arm extension. In dirty police work days, we had dirty tricks. And if you walked up to someone that was going to be a problem, going to fight you, had a weapon that you knew or something, we kind of walk up to him, shake his hand, and hyperextend or hurt his right side weapon hand. And then immediately so the rest of the arrest or the conversation, he's like this or thinking about this, and you could take care of him. So that's a dirty trick on anyone. They say, the Vietnamese said that a Westerner cannot resist a handshake. And it's true, you know. And so if his gun is here, his knife is here, you've essentially tied up, and it's an assassination trick. Take out your thing, get him, or your gun and shoot him, and that's that. So that's a dirty trick, you know. You take out to get somebody right away. How you turn the handshake into a forearm grab is, we'll turn this way. This is, you know, thumb to thumb, a locking position, you know, that people are expecting. And what stops it and turns it into a handshake is really the high thumbs of each hand. So as you come in, you drop the thumb. You pass to the forearm, and you turn a handshake into a forearm grab. And that's you say, dirty trick of that, you know. So here we have outside, inside, inside, outside. Let me show you this one. I almost hate to show it to you, but I'm afraid you'll do it in real life. And this is in a standard military police, police academies, a lot of civilian academies. And I really dislike it, except in sports. And this is a figure 4 lock that they'll show technically outside the arm, inside the arm, inside the arm, outside the arm. And it's not good, and here's why. You grab the person, you know, you pull his arm out like this. Look at we're side to side. Reach around and get a figure 4 lock. Now, I'm afraid that he's just going to get me with his other arm. And I hate to see this taught, and I'm only showing it to you today to really think about it. Now, if you're in submission sports, and you're a sport fighter, it's probably bread and butter knowledge that you need to know. But for a street fighter, I'm not too fond of it, you know. And then if I have a police partner who's doing the same thing or tying up that other arm, then maybe it's okay. What's worse is on the inside of the arm. I grab here, reach around, and get this. You see this in sports, but look at the ability for him to do anything to me. And I worry about it. I worry about people thinking they can do it in a real street fight. And yes, you can hyperextend that up and down, hyperextend the arm and really distract them, but the face, the eyes scare me in an actual fight. So the only reason I'm showing you that, and you can do it outside, inside, inside, outside, are sport applications, and I hate for anybody to teach it in a real world situation. The first set will be the over-the-shoulder armbar or arm break. And I always hope that people will not break someone's arm unless they have a weapon. And it's kind of maybe unnecessary most of the time to break someone's arm who is unarmed. So probably the best application, and the one most commonly taught in military and police, is against a knife or a gun. But this is a very good one with a gun that we have added to it. This is when the criminal, as we talk about in our gun films, has the extended arm, and he's holding people, remember, at a bank robbery, a store robbery, who knows what, where, you know, and you're going to do something. And of course, what we have our trainers do in the training environment is the man will hold the gun and look at you, and you wait until he gets distracted. Something's happened at the crime scene. He is a criminal at a crime scene. One of the bank hostages may say something. Someone may walk by the window. Who knows what happens? But he's looking at his crime scene, because if he's standing at you like this, he'll never be able to do this. And it is really unreal to think that someone would be doing that. And so he's, hey, come on. And they're orchestrating. I told you, sit down here. Where did you get over here? People and police orchestrate the crime scene with their gun all the time. And so the point that you train for, you teach the student to wait for the eye distraction and even the look, and then you come in and do something. So remember too, and I rarely talk about this, but this is a revolver, and you know, semi-automatics do have a tendency to fire faster with less trigger pressure. If the hammer is back, it takes very little pressure, boom, to fire the gun. But if the hammer is down, he has got to pull the trigger, which turns the cylinder, which fires the gun. This is just milliseconds. But if you have a semi-automatic, it'll shoot as fast as that gun will shoot, you know. But it's still a second or two, you know, that difference we're talking about. So here's our guy. He's got the gun on me. My training partner will then now get distracted and move the pistol off of me to someone else or something else he sees. My hands are, remember, keep your hands up in a panicky surrender position. If this is a photograph that does nothing for you. Your hands should be up like this because the moving hands disguise an attack in the same way that moving hands in a fighting stance disguises an attack, you know. If you stand like this and suddenly jump forward, you may scare him into shooting you. So here we have our guy. I'm going to wind. He points away to someone. I'm going to wind up on the outside, and in a vertical clap, I catch, you know, pretty much the hand and the gun. I start the acquisition of the elbow hyperextension, slip it up to the shoulder, and I do a tricep pull down and a squat at the same time, which essentially, hopefully, breaks the elbow. And the gun falls. I'm going to set this down because I don't want to damage the floor. That's a real heavy gun, you know. So I'm here, break, and snap. It's pretty bad. When he's up on his toes, you know you've got it. And we'll step back a little bit. A nice, easy takedown from here. We'll show a couple of them. But a lot of people like this. You see the V in my shoulder. Is I now slip this under, and I'm going to do this wrist-style throw that takes him down. Very popular with martial artists. The next one I'll show you is very popular with police and military, the rear leg takedown, just because they're very familiar with it. So he has a pistol. We'll do it from this other side. And back here, my hands are up. He points that way. Look at the clap catch. Look at how I begin to start to get the acquisition of the elbow. Snap! Break the elbow. The pistol hits the ground. And then look at how I travel out, and pull down, and he hits the ground. And then you finish him as needed. You have elbow, you have knee drops, punches, whatever, if you're the police, you're a citizen, whatever is appropriate for the situation. That's also a key issue with this pistol is this is a revolver, and it's worthy of mentioning. You don't see many revolvers around anymore because of the semi-auto. But you notice that we did the vertical clap to catch it. And many times, we were taught this years ago when I started in police work, almost everyone had revolvers. And so we would try to get the web of our hand sometime in the space to prevent the hammer from falling down. Or you would try to catch here and prevent the hammer from being pulled back. But one of the most effective things is the ability, if you grab the cylinder in a tight grip like this capture that we just did, you capture it, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finger muscles involved versus his one finger to pull the trigger. You know, and you see, this is an accurate representation. Each trigger pull turns this cylinder that the next bullet falls in line, and if you prevent that cylinder from turning, you're jamming up the revolver. So we were always taught, if possible, to grab the revolver this way or a little bit more this way to interfere with the hammer. Now, you know, with semi-automatics, you interfere with the slide with any significance, and it interferes with it. So that's just something to think about. And one more issue, too. When this guy turns his gun away from you, if he's turning it at someone and you grab it, and if it's a semi-auto, and if it does go off, it's at someone. And so it's not a bad idea to try to, if you can, think about that. And then maybe when you grab the gun, you know, pull it down so that it's, and get this really fast. Remember in the slow motion movements we did this morning, that's an arm crash to hyperextend the arm. Well, that's an arm crash. That's the beginning of it, and it slips up and you get it. So you see with some of the issues that you have to worry about. He points the gun from here to here. He tells you to sit down, and then boom. So if the defender can drop the pistol, then that's not a very good practical military style application with this. And it gets us a chance to look at the second major takedown. It's going to be against a high knife attack. Now, if it's a low knife attack, I may not bring it all the way up here. But if it's a high to my face or neck, we're back in that same very common sense move to do this. Now, as we talk about in the knife course, there are two different kinds of knife attacks. There's that madman power lunge that stays and prolongs and goes forward. Sometimes if the person misses, he's so mad, he may step and fall. That's how powerful that is. And then the worst case scenario is the jabber. You can't do this one against the jabber because he's automatically pulling back. You have to do something different. Look at unarmed combatives in knife 9. That's where we talk about all those options. But this particular time, he's coming up. I get out of the way. I begin the hyperextension. I slip. We break. Now, this is the other popular one. And once again, I'm taking this over my head, but I hit and do the chin jab attack, step and pull, rear leg takedown. And then from here, you have the stomps, the knees, anything that you need to do to finish them. But the military and police like the rear leg takedown because they've done it before. And your combat martial artist likes this wrist throw because they've done it before. Just remember, whatever it is, do it fast, do it powerfully, do it violently. I have seen that one taught against an uppercut with a knife, but then you would have to take a muscular arm and straighten it out and then put it on your shoulder. And I don't think that's the most efficient thing to do in that situation. But there are counters to that move. Look at the Joint Crank DVD. Look at Unarmed Combatives 4, where we do all these armbar style takedowns. And you'll see early phase, mid phase, and late phase counters to that. So, and this is old school policing. I'll come and I'll grab the person's wrist, much like our drills that we did earlier, and I'll hold his arm a little bit, and then you walk with him and say, hey man, come on, it's over. He is not a UFC fighter. He's not trying to kill you. You're getting him away from an argument or something like that. And so we start back here so that you can see, I grab, and you walk. And you should be talking and saying the right things. Oftentimes as a cop, I would say, you won, man, you won that one. You won that one, man. So over and over and over again, a simple term. But I grab. In policing, they would tell us that the next step is going to be the step of resistance, and then we would have to write in our police reports that I felt the muscular tension start to begin, and I knew, the bend in the arm, and now that's the legitimate excuse to start punching them, or fighting them. And so you need to take a walk on the right side and take a walk on the left side. And next, we'll take a walk on the wild side when he starts to fight you. The next thing that the police and security would often be taught is, from here, if you feel a little trouble, you bend, go, and get the, what many people call the gooseneck. Some people try to make new words for it, but it's still the gooseneck. And it's always good. This is, if you must know, it's in the joint lock progression. This, you might say, is a vertical one. That's a horizontal one. The horizontal one can also be from behind. And we show these in the joint crank video. And you can have two-way action. You can hook this other arm. But the gooseneck, and this you can take someone down from here. A Chinese Chin Na guy told me years ago that the expression "goose looks east," and if you make the goose look east, it hurts more. I don't know why, but one thing I did learn as a cop that was a surprise to me. People react to pain horribly, and they grab what hurts and they try to pull the body part out that hurts. And you know, in all my years in jiu-jitsu, I never saw this counter. Tim grabs his fingers and pulls. And I've never seen that except some untrained guy trying to save the pain in his arm, a drunk, and he pulled. So you really need to worry about protecting the fingers so that he can't get that. So we're making an escort transition, you know, and then you could go capture in this connection here and bend. You have two-way action, you know. Depending on how you pick this up, you know, you can get the regular one. He can be twisted in. Sometimes I palm up and I palm down inside this. If you have another officer on the other side, this is an excellent way to capture someone. If I've done riot duty in the military and in police work, and the leader of the squad may say, "Okay, guys, we're going to escort people with the gooseneck." And so gooseneck, maybe they show it to you real quick. These are the peaceful people that are in front of a political building, you know, hippies that won't fight you, but they won't leave. So the order of the day is gooseneck, you know, pick them up. And so all the officers and their partners will walk everyone with the gooseneck to the jail wagon and take them off, you know. So anyway, so we have this. And then you start to feel it, push it in. You've got a palm up capture, a palm down capture. You have vertical or horizontal, you know. And don't forget now we have also, we're walking on the wild side and we're going to pick up a person that is busy fighting someone else or something, you know. Keep in mind the gooseneck is a follow-up. It's not an elbow hyperextension. It's just something typically taught in a police package and security package that you get. Here's something else that they showed years and years ago to us, you know. Some of the best stick training I've ever had in my life was with the military police. And it was very fast and violent, and I've seen things there I've never seen anywhere else, you know. And so here's our guy. What I'm going to do is I get him from behind and turn that hand, insert the stick against the elbow, and sort of punch forward. Now you have a stick escort similar to what you were doing. You say, come on, man, it's done. If he's a UFC fighter, this is not going to work, but you have to try the easy thing, the legal thing first, and the use of force. And then he begins to fight from there, and then you have to fight from there. But from this side, I reach around, and I get the hand, I twist it as we learned earlier to try to manipulate this. This goes pretty much across the belly, and this is, some people would say, a rabbit punch. Now, here's sometimes what I see. That's not a strong. You hold a stick like this. That's not good. It's almost like your own wrist lock. Make it a straight line. Make it a straight line, and then you'll have more power. And you don't have to change grips. You don't have to do anything. It's just right there, and you can walk with them and say, we're done, you've done, you won, let's get out of here, you won. And you can steer him around. We've caught the guy, we've twisted the arm out because we understand the hyperextension of the elbow, and you're moving along and it looks like he needs to go down. Well, I'm taking that hand and really pulling it down this way, and I'm pushing it down this way, and I'm then sweeping the leg, and you can try to get the person down against the pressure of the elbow. This is classic material. Nothing works all the time, but you can experiment with this. We've come up, we're moving them along, it's not going well, you know. And so I get a good position here, you step here, I pull that back, I knock that down, and he's down, and then you do whatever it is that you need to do next based on the situation that you're in. Bang! You let go, take away that fight. Boom! You take away that fight. That's if you're in a really bad riot. Combat scenarios for the uppercut. My gosh, they're very, very diverse, but here's how it might appear in a combat scenario with the uppercut. Now, in a bigger picture, you have an inside uppercut and an outside uppercut. In other words, he's thrown a punch. You know, you have an inside the body, side to side, insider uppercut that comes in, and this one is an outside uppercut. Outside, this arm is coming around. This is how I hurt my hand years ago and had to have surgery on it. That shot hit a guy in the chin and caused a problem for me. But here is, if he is throwing a vertical fist It's a delivery package where the elbow is pretty much down and the bicep is up. And so I'm stepping out of the way and I throw in that uppercut into the joint. Crank down, punch up. You see how fast Tim protected his joint instinctively. A wolf will do that. A dog will do that. Probably a frog will do that. Yes, isometric muscle. It's just an animal instinct, you know. So you have to be so strong that you can defeat that, or you have to be so fast that it doesn't get it to happen. That's the ambush, the trap. And so I just want to show you this because I learned this in Indonesian martial art. You have the two uppercuts, they call it. 1, 2, or 1, 2. So when that punch comes in, boom, boom, you get 2 shots, or boom, boom, and you see the pumpings that's happening. That's pretty interesting. But let's see, we'll step back here because he throws this punch. This is the combat scenario we'll do. Wham! Huh? Bam! Into the groin, a hammer fist into the groin, and a push against essentially a hyperextension of the elbow. I learned this in the system of Bersilat, B-E-R-I-S-I-L-A-T, Bersilat. From here, but the Bersilat folks would do a thumb in the eye. I suggest you open the hand and have 4 bullets that might nick into the eye, you know? And then from here, simply put, I charge into the armpit, as opposed to being out here and getting into the rodeo of problems. Charge into the armpit and go forward. His leg is in middle range here. If you want unarmed combatives 5, it shows the complete presentation of leg sweeps. When the leg is forward, middle, and in the end, but that we're just doing a simple takedown from here. I am sweeping and dropping, and hopefully the person will go down. From the other side, this comes in. You can practice the double pumps if you wish. He goes down here. Very, very simple. In, read, and take down. One more time from maybe this angle right here. The punch comes in. I start to step aside. Remember, So many things to do from here. Charge into here, charge forward, step and drop, and he hits the ground. Here is another one against an hyperextended elbow, sort of like what we were showing earlier, banging down on the surface of the elbow. Here's one way we're going to do this hand stick. We could do a knife with a single edge knife and with a pistol. He throws that straight punch at me. There's an eye attack, that's an insert. I start to wrap, controlling another eye attack, and I cradle this arm right here. This is a hungry hand. It especially helps later when we talk about getting the stick involved, you know. And I do, in a perfect world, I don't want to be back here. I'd like to be off at his side, you know. It's, you might say it's sort of like that side armbar that we're knocking down. This comes up into the victory position. Hand grab. Everyone has different hand grip names. Don't be confused by mine, you know. It's just something that I really think is a victory position. But other people will have different terms for them. No one's right, no one's wrong. What we don't want to see, though, is the zipper. That sort of thing like this. It comes apart, and at times people have injured their knuckles trying to hold it together. This combination, there are many, many different grips superior to the zipper. But a lot of beginners will just immediately grab like this, you know. And so this comes in, I grab, I get into a victory position, and now using the hyperextended elbow and perhaps a kick to the knee, we drive the person down to the ground. It's a takedown. We'll step back over here, and we'll show it from here. Sweep and see? Catch. So many things you could do as inserts here. We get him down. I tried to make it a side arm bar, and he sweeps down. Take him down, and you do whatever next is appropriate. Now, I usually show that first with a stick, but since we're in America and Europe and so forth, people like to see it first with their empty hand. But this is a famous stick move, really, that emphasized to me by Remy Precis, who loved this move. He used it all the time. If I get a backhanded attack and I stop it, you know, we'll move right about here. I stop it, and, you know, this palm is up. I start to circle, boom! There's what is the eye attack with the empty hand, is the stick attack here. And my hand goes from 3 o'clock all the way around to this hungry hand right here. I grab it, and then and I like to get more of a side arm bar and not so much let this turn and even bend. You can still do it, but it's a straight arm. And I work the angle. That's the best angle right there. You motorcycle, vroom, 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 and then pull down and take the guy down. Let's look at it from another angle. Right, you can stand right about there. You hit it, boom, boom. That's what makes it work. Catch, catch, and drop down. Then sometimes, if you're lucky, you can work that to a strip and send a disarm by working, you know, closing that triangle, and show the option of being able to do this with a handgun. And you know, there's so much involved in this particular deal. We're talking about, well, why are you, you know, not shooting this person, and why is your gun out, and will the structure of your gun survive the impact and what you're going to do? And that's all subjects you have to really look at. We talk about in detail in the gun course. But there's a lot of pistol hitting going on in police training now in the States. We used to call it in Texas pistol whipping. And it's frowned upon, but I'd much rather hit a person with a pistol than shoot him, because I don't kill him if I do this. And if I think I can do it, I might try it. And we used to do it frequently in Texas, and then it became something you shouldn't do. But you always keep your finger off the trigger anyway till the very last possible second. And you can jam the gun forward and hit somebody. It's a piece of metal. The slide is not going to come back and stay back. And if it goes back a little bit, there's a powerful spring in these things. It'll go forward again. You strike with the handle, the underbelly of the weapon, the top of it, the front. And we practice in our gun course these close quarter strikes with a pistol on heavy bags and so forth. But just as an example, he may be charging me, and he's unarmed, and I can't shoot him. We say suicide by cop is a common deal. Whatever the reason of the psychology is, that's subjects of entire lectures, you know. But he comes at me, and I'm on the outside. We'll move a little bit closer right about here. I'm at the outside. My eye attack, my stick attack can suddenly be that. Just bam! Hitting that straight forward into a piece of metal straight into his face. Finger off the trigger. I scoop the arm, and then from here, I make the connection in the victory position in some way with my hands. And I'm able to take the person down while holding a pistol in my hand. Then I'm just telling you that's radical stuff. And if you present this to your local police sergeant, he may faint. He may just, oh my God, and fall down. But I'm using it, and it's been used for years. And many police departments are very smart to think about, rather than killing someone, hitting them with a pistol and knocking them out, then you have a live person instead of a shot dead person. But it takes a special open mind in security and law enforcement to realize that. I smack this guy away, finger off the trigger, obviously, bang, right into his face. And I don't mean bang, but I mean, you hit. He's stunned and his head goes back. That hand wraps around the arm and it gets cradled, and I make some type of connection with my pistol, and then we do the takedown.